ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote, tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika. Chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano.
Family, you are welcome to Humanities TV Africa. Today is the gang show, the gang, of course, the gang show, and we have all the gang members in the building, in one building. We are all here, Humanities TV Africa representatives across Africa. And today we are going to talk about how can Africa use a youthful population to progress economically. How can Africa use her youthful population to progress economically? You know, by 2050, 1 in 4 people on this planet will be an African. In 2050, 1 in every 4 people, human being you see on this planet, will be an African. And by 2030, young Africans are expected to constitute 42% of the global youth. So in just about 6 years' time to come, over 42% of the global youth will be Africans. So today, basically, the gang show, we are discussing about how can Africa use a youthful population to progress economically. And we have my good friend, my only comrade, Nandip. Comrade Nandip from Nigeria is in the building. And also we have Comrade Mambu also in the building. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah. My brother is over there. He did well. He did well. And my Tarok gentleman too. Yeah, the father of tradition. And I love how you carry your tradition anywhere, anyhow, anytime. The Tarok tradition is good. But before we start, I just want you to say something about this topic briefly. Then we kickstart the program. Starting from you, Brother Emmanuel Mambu, what do you think about Africa and its youthful population?
Well, thank you very much, comrade Nana. It's a pleasure. I think Africa is
Wow. We just lost our comrade Emmanuel. So then I'll have to start with the preamble. I'll have to start the preamble. Then later, my senior comrade Andrew Bonfa will join me from Abuja. So basically, Africans currently on this planet, we are talking about the global south, in which Africa is also part of the global south. when we talk about the Western country and the industrialized country, their population are rather reducing. Whereas those of us in the global south, in especially sub-Saharan Africa, in India, in Asia, the population is increasing exponentially. So we are here to discuss how Africans, as young as we are, how we can use this youthful population, because human resource is the major factor when it comes to any economic society. It is the human resource which makes sure any economic society upgrades to a level that can be called successful. It is the human resource. And in Africa, we have this youthful human resources in abundance. Nearly over 1 million Africans have crossed to Europe through these boats, these so-called boats from Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, and Algeria, to Italy, to all these European countries. From 2012, about 1 million Africans have crossed to Europe, and almost 30,000 people never survived. They didn't survive. So we are talking about people who are eager to work. We are talking about Africans who knows what they want. The continent is facing developmental challenges of food, security, healthcare, sustainability, and infrastructure that urgently needs tackling, that urgently needs attention. And wherever there is problem, there is job, because we solve problem to get employment. So all over Africa here, we can use our problems to provide us with a stable working environment. So we need not to go to other countries, to go to Europe, to go to the United States or to Asia to seek for greener pastures. We can just tune our mentality and shape our economy that can befit the modern day African. And I'm going to use our education system for example. You know, with our university education, it has always been the usual colonial chew and pour, or learn the theoretical aspect of it and be a clerk for the colonialists. And we have been tolling that line till date. So if we want to change economically and change with the people around us, we have to change our teaching methodology. And we have to start this teaching methodology, because we are Africans, we know ourselves. So we have to start it by learning by doing. Learning by doing simply means that you give the university students the chance to solve a problem, a realistic problem, because throughout our environment we've seen the problem and we are part of the problem. So if the teaching methodology is for the African to go outside and learn on the grounds, so whilst learning, the young African will learn about the mistakes, and the young African will know how to apply the solution to that particular mistake. Our education level is about going to the classroom, learning theories, learning other people curriculum. And although we don't have to reinvent the wheel, although if other people, it is working for them, we cannot, but we have to know what we are learning, and what we are learning must be tailored to the common African. I think my brother Emmanuel Mambu is back. Ima, don't worry, we are African. So these are the problems young Africans like you and I need to solve. You see, the problems are the key to the freedom of economic parity. Because right now, as I said earlier, in 2050, 1 in every 4 people are going to, is going to be an African. And around, I think, 1974, there was this book written by one Mr. Ehrlich, and he titled it Population Bomb. And basically, the population bomb is about, they were thinking that if there are more people on this planet, we are going to suffer. We are going to suffer. The end result of it is we are going to suffer starvation, wars, and many other bad things to come. So from that time, United Nations and other organizations are trying to curb down population. Although we have the Chinese people, I think right now they have over 1.4 billion, and India have even surpassed Chinese, getting to 1.5 billion population. And Africa, right now, the women who give birth to the people, we are going to, Africa is going to double its population in the next 25 years to come. And the mothers who are going to double these population have already been born. They exist among us. They have been born recently, and they are going to give birth to these people. So it is clear in our eyes we can't dodge this population boom. We can't dodge it. So what we have to do is to use our numbers to benefit the people of Africa. And I would love my brother Emmanuel, because of your internet challenges, I want you to also share few things you also have in your mind.
Yes, thank you. Now, we are talking about the population of Africa, and like as you said, every by 2050, and it is not only about the population. Now, the reality about Africa youth in developing our economy, or how we can use our youth to develop our economy or to grow our economy. Now, let me set an example. You will see a lot of youth are moving from the agricultural sector into border riding, or keke, or motorbike. This is, and one thing we should know is agriculture is key in boosting our economy. Agriculture is key. Now, the Gambia, as an example, the Gambia doesn't have diamond, gold, silver, whatever. They are only into groundnut. In Uganda, they call it G-nut. And the Gambia is actually more developed than most of these countries which have diamond, gold, silver, and whatever you call it. So meaning, it is because they are more engaged into agriculture. That is why you see their economy is growing, is booming. So in using our youthful population to progress our economy, is that our youth, I think we need to encourage youth, one, into more of agricultural sector. It is only in Africa that you see that English is compulsory, whilst agriculture is selective. Maybe you can just select it whether you like it or not. The subject agriculture is not compulsory in schools, in some of these schools in Africa, like in my country. The subject agriculture is not compulsory, but English is compulsory. Why? So it's like you are moving away the youth, the minds of the youth, from agriculture to another thing. And agriculture is one thing that can really boost the economy of a country. We are talking about Africa. We are hungry. Hunger is killing people. Hunger is this. There is no food. It is because the labor force, there is no labor force in the agricultural sector. And we do not have the power to purchase some of these machines for agricultural production. So this is one thing. Agriculture as a subject should be compulsory in our schools. It should be compulsory in our schools, because the moment you leave your agricultural production, or you forget about agriculture, how will you provide food for yourself to eat? So if you are riding a boda or riding a motorbike, leaving agriculture, you are not doing anything about agriculture, and then you are riding this motorbike, so you will find out that half of what you get from that border is going into food, because everything you eat will be imported into your country, and it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. So if the youth could see agriculture as something that they should involve in, it will be good for our economy. Why are African youth going through the Sahara Desert to Europe? Because we do not value what we have in Africa. And you see, most of these guys going through the Sahara Desert, 99% of them are youth. They are leaving Africa. They are leaving their countries. They died in the Sahara Desert. They also died in the sea, trying to go to Europe, leaving Africa, not engaging themselves into something that will boost our economy. So this is something we should actually look at, that as a youth, you need to involve yourself, in developing your economy. So I set agriculture as something that, because the reason why there is not much of production now in agriculture in Africa is because there is no the labor force is no more. There is no labor force. My country, as an example, you can see a family. Before now, you can see a family will farm. This year, they will eat that rice till next year, a whole year. But now you will find out that they will farm, the rice will not even take 3 months, because they are doing a very small farming. No more large scale farming, because there is no labor force. Everybody is on border. Everybody is on motorbike. Everybody is in the park there, finding people. Some are thieves on the street. So we are not using our youth to actually develop or progress our economy. That is why we are just going down instead of going up. Instead of going up, we are always going down. So it is actually affecting us. We will have the population, but will the population impact? Is there going to be any impact? It's not only the population. Okay, we have 8 million, we have 7 million, we have 8 million, but what is the 8 million doing to progress the economy? What is the 7 million doing for the economy to move from one stage to another? And that is why you see that people are saying there are no good things happening. So let's go. Let me go and try. Let's go through the Sahara Desert to Europe. And it's actually affecting us as Africans. It's actually affecting our economy. So you can see we are going down instead of going up, because agriculture is not compulsory in our schools, but English is compulsory. This is bad.
Thank you. Nana, can you hear me? Nana?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, this topic.
Yeah, you can continue.
I really appreciate this topic. How can Africa use a youthful population to progress economically? This topic is a very good one. I really appreciate you for that. And Mabu really talked and make a very key point. The key point here in his submission is agriculture. Now, the population of Africans there is growing very, very, very rapidly, very fast. And the land we have for cultivation of crops, rearing of animals is not, growing, but the population is growing. How can we use the youthful population to progress economically? Our youth, the issue of land and agriculture, the land is dead. We have been using these organic fertilizers, the one they use chemical, for years for cultivation of our land, for cultivation of our crops. This really affects our soil. Now, when you cultivate a large piece of land, you harvest a very, little. Why? Because the land is dead. We need to go back to our normal campus manual, and we cannot do crop rotation because the land is no more there. You can see a family, a father, his wife, and like 4 or 5 children. You will just have 1 hectare or a plot of land, and that cannot be able to feed them in a year. Now, as I'm speaking, because the land are no more fertile, the land are no more useful. That's why most of the youth now decided to go instead of kind of studying agriculture and practicing agriculture. They choose to do other subject or go to other fields and abandon agriculture. It's not their fault. The government are not helping up. The government are not helping the youth. That's why you see what we have in Nigeria, the Japa syndrome. That a lot of youth, as Mabu rightly say, leaving Nigeria or leaving Africa to Europe, Asia, and other European countries, searching for green pasture. Our youth population is not helping us. Rather, we are involved in banditry, kidnapping, Yahoo, that is internet fraud. Is it a good thing for youth to be doing? No, because the kind of the economy to kind of excel in Africa is no more there. Only the rich and the politicians decided to 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 choose the youth in political aspect when electioneer comes. They will use them as tout, snatching of ballot paper, snatching of ballot boxes, involved in fights. That is what the youth are used for by the politicians. So it's time for we, the youth, to kind of say no, enough is enough. Stand up for your right and defend your right. We have been told that the youth are the future. No, the youth are not the future. The future is now. You should not wait for any future to come. These politicians, they have been there for a very long time. They kind of, reshuffling themselves, change this from one person to another. You can see a politician 70 years, 80 years, getting to 100 years, contesting for a political post. Instead of the youth, they are the one that's supposed to do that. I really appreciate the president of Burkina Faso, 35 years old, Look at how he's putting his country. We are proud. I'm really, really proud of him. Chase away those France, the way these people that come to to take away their resources, mineral resources, and they give them, it's very minute, a small thing. They take everything away. The Francophone countries, most of them should do the way the Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. And we, the Anglophone too, we are going to stand on our feet. But we are being ruled indirectly. We are the youth. We are the one that we can liberate ourselves. The Africans, we are the youth. We are the one to fight this. The Francophones, they are doing that to save their country. In some few years to come, you will discover that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they will grow economically because the youthfulness, the youth, they are the one that grab the leadership of their country. They are the one that pushing things in their own country. The old fools like the way we have it here in Nigeria. Those grandpapa, they're supposed to be in the villages, but they are the one ruling us because they don't have foresight like the youth. Youth, they are full of energy, full of thinking, full of reasoning. Not like the fools that we have here in Nigeria. We call them our leaders. You can see them. They don't have anything to present to us. This is exactly what happened to the NSAS saga, that many youth were killed in Nigeria because enough is enough for the youth in Nigeria. So they have to want to take the mantle from these old fools. The youthful population, to progress Africa economically, we have to stand. If not so, our population is useless. We keep on lamenting, we keep on, crying here without action. Youth can stand on their feet. If they say enough is enough, enough is enough. You cannot say enough is enough, and later on, a useless politician will give you small amount of money, then you support that politician. Those are crooks, those are criminals. I would like a youth, a military, to take over this mantle of government that we have here in Africa. Militaries should take over. Youthfulness, because old people can never be a soldier. So youths, mostly youth, they are the one that they are recruited as soldiers. So if the military can take over mantle from all those politicians, Africa will be good. And then those that already left our shore to Europe, Asia, and America will come back to develop our continent. The population of Africa is almost 1 billion or more than that. We have all the resources. We have all the minerals. We have all the manpower in Africa. Why are we still backward? Because we are the leadership economically wise. But when you leave this shore of Africa to Europe, America, and Asia, you will discover that we are breaking, we are making names, we are creating niche for ourselves in other places. But the old fools, crooks, looters, and criminals, they can't allow the youth to do anything. The youth need to stand up on their feet and say enough is enough. If not so, Africa, we cannot progress. This progress economically is just word of mouth. It's word of mouth. You look at the Rwanda now. Their president is more than 30 years ruling, of which is doing well. Of course, you need to give way to others. Look at Cameroon. Yeah? This old fool, he has been there for decades. He needs to be. Eh? Hello?
Pobia, the president of Cameroon.
Yes,
He's
Pobia.
90 years.
This man, This man have to be taken away because he doesn't have anything to offer anymore. Just the same thing. Look at why are they so like that? Are they the only ones that have intelligence to rule? No, because they know why they are there. Because they have already stolen, looted their country dry with the collaboration of those European people, those in America, Asia, and all that. So they are afraid that the next person that comes is not a closer ally. They will be what? They will be jailed. Africa need to stand up. The youth of Africa need to do something drastically. If not so, one day we will wake up. There will no youth here in Africa, and other people will come, like the way the Chinese people are here coming in drove in Africa, stealing our mineral resources, stealing our land, building industry, and make us slaves in our own continent. This is wrong. That's why most of the youth that think very, very well, they are running away. They will say, I will better die in the Atlantic Ocean or in the Red Sea or in the desert than to stay in Africa. You need to stay at home and fight for your fatherland. The agricultural aspect in Africa now, we don't know how to revamp the agricultural setting now in Africa. The lands are completely what? Barren. The land, they are no more fertile. Nothing agriculture-wise. The population is just expanding, but it's not useful to us. Yes, it's not useful to us. The population of youth is expanding. That's why we have to run away. Those who are the means, they have to run.
Yes, and
How can
to
we?
back you with the
Yes.
stars with what you were saying. I don't know if you can.
Hello?
To back what you were saying, we have young voters but old leaders, and the average African leader, like if we tabulate all of their age and we find the mean, the average age is, and Paul Biya of Cameroon, as you earlier said, is 90 years, and there is and is 72 years older than the average Cameroonian. Their president is 72 years older than the average Cameroonian. So you can see the disparity. Ghana here, our president is getting to 80 years. I think he's 77 or 78 thereabout. He's getting to around 80 years. So, but the battle too is for the youth. You know, half of all Africans live in countries considered not free by Freedom House. You know, Freedom House, these countries are considered not free, and 5 head of state over 3 decades. 5 heads of state have held, as you earlier said, to power for over 3 decades. And as of 2012, over 400 new embassies are being opened. Brother Nandi, please, can you take it from there? I'm coming, please.
Yes. So, as you can see, the youth in Africa needs to do a lot of research about African soil. The land, as I'm saying about agriculture, is completely gone. We as a country in Africa need to share ideas how things work. That is one of the reasons that Africa will use a youthful population to grow or to progress economically. We need to share ideas within the African setting as youth. Leon, Ghana, South Africa, Cameroon, Libya. Let's come together. Let the African Union should be disbanded, and let's have what is called the African Youth Summit. Yes, because the African Union is not doing anything about Africa. The old fools only go there, take tea and coffee, sleep and be snoring. The last time last week I saw the president of my country, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sleeping in African Union. He went for a summit. A whole fool like him, instead of him go and contribute, because he doesn't have anything upstairs. That man is old. He's close to 100 years. African youth should have an African youth summit, of which ideas should be exchanged on how to grow this continent. This is a better thing to do. We cannot be leaving our continent undeveloped, go to other Africans, other world countries, Asia, America, USA, to develop their country. No, we need to start at home. We need to start something. Join our head together, bring out ideas, share innovation, share the way we progress. Not leaving our continent and go somewhere else. So that people, as we are leaving, other people are coming to take over. As we are leaving, the Chinese are coming in drove. You can see they have their cottage industry everywhere. They buy land, they are bringing their people. Yes. Before you know it, this Africa, it will turn to a country, because they are in billions over there. So now they are exporting their people gradually to Africa, because they see a lot of mineral resources. They see a lot of opportunities in Africa. So they are grabbing it. While we, the youth in Africa, supposed to open our eyes, put on our thinking cap and reason. But no, we are running away. These people have developed their place, and you want to go and enjoy. Why can't you stay back? Develop your place too. The Chinese are coming. The Chinese are already here. They'll take away our resources. Look at what is happening in Congo. There are no more youth again. They are already turned into what? Into rival groups, faction, killing each other. Because this person will come and support this group with weapons, with funds, and then they'll kill each other, start kind of this complete destruction, so that they can be taking their resources, excavating their mineral resources and taking them away. But the youth, they are the one that causing these problems, because there's no synergies. They don't think that, because education is key. If a youth is not properly educated, he will see that anything that they give to him is enough for him. But he doesn't know that the little they give to him, there is more than that they have been hiding from him. Why can't we come together as African youth to make something out of our continent? Different African countries have different resources. In Sierra Leone, you have mineral resources over there. In Nigeria, there are bountifully a lot of mineral resources. Cameroon, the same thing. Niger, the same thing. They have what they call uranium for nuclear. And in what is happening here in Congo, they are cobalt, which is very, very good in cell phone making, manufacturing. And many other, South Africa, Ghana, gold, silver, just name it, diamond. We have it. Why can't we just say no? Let's negotiate. You have the technical know-how, we have the resources. Come, let's discuss on how this thing should be done. But no. In Nigeria, look at fuel. We have a lot of petrol, deposit, gas. We have tin, columbine. sand, most mineral resources, we have them in abundance. Iron ore, is it helping us? No. Rather, the youth, what they are engaging now is what? Banditry, kidnapping, stealing, armed robbery, internet posters. Is that a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. Youth supposed to, stand for their fatherland. They are the ones that fight wars. If war broke out now, it's not old men that goes to war, it's the youth that goes to war. So we youth, we're supposed to defend our continent, Africa. If not so, there's no usefulness in us economically. We are not useful because we are not even useful to ourselves. If you are useful to yourself, you cannot leave your house and go to another person's house to go and develop another person's house. You need to develop your house first. That's when you tell yourself as useful. Since that we cannot develop Africa, we are not useful to ourselves. How can we be useful with our population? Rather than involved in vices and crime. The issue is the leadership. The leader doesn't help us. In the sense that they want the youth to remain the way they are, so that they can continue to manipulate them, which is wrong. Youth need to open their eyes, put on their thinking cap, and do the right thing. Go to look for what to do. Don't expect the government or other people to do things for you. We have disappointed ourselves, the African youth. We need to do something. We need to come together as African youth. Forget about this African Union of a thing. They are a bunch of old crooks, looters, and fools. They cannot do anything for us. Yes.
I would like to come in a little bit and allow my brother Emmanuel to also say something. But before Emmanuel comes in, I just want to talk about things are happening in our continent, and as Africans and as the youthful Africans as we are, we need to take advantage of that. Business are chasing Africa's tens of millions of new consumers emerging every year. Representation of untapped markets such as cosmetics, organic foods, and even this hotel, Hilton Hotels. They are planning to build about 65 hotels across Africa in the next 5 years. So there are so many opportunities. But how will we be able to take advantage of these emerging opportunities? That is why I was talking about the university leading the stakeholders, the community, the politician, the entrepreneur. We all should be linked up with the university, so that the university will come out with the appropriate techniques, the method that can suit the African environment well, because you just can't take things from United Kingdom or from the United States or Asia and apply it. Our culture is different, and even in Africa, it is very dynamic. We have different people with different mentality. So we have to try as much as possible to find ways and means that can be applicable to us as Africans. So I would like my brother Emmanuel Mambu to also join the conversation and also see what he thinks.
Yeah, like you were saying, those people Nandip was calling old fools. They are actually not helping the youth of Africa, and we see them as people who should help. Like, for example, in a country where you have a leader which is over 80 years old, and even his way of thinking will not be too much youth focus. His way of thinking will not be too much youth focus. And this is one of the things that is actually affecting youth in Africa. Because that support, you cannot stand alone. Even though, yes, there are exceptions, but we are talking about the majority here. To stand alone is not easy. So you need that system, a way where there is going to be a system that can support the youth in achieving these things. Now, you will take the initiative that, okay, let me do this as a youth to develop my country, or to let me bring this idea. But will that idea be supported by the system? We are living in a system where if you are not part of Nandi's political party, even if you have the brain, even if you have the know-how, even if you have that idea to develop, your idea will waste, because I am not part of Nandi, so Nandi will never support my idea. This is the Africa for us. Africa, we have the materials. We have people who have brains. We have people who knows how to move the system. But they will never be supported because they are not part of the corrupt system in Africa. And mostly these are youth. So if you do not support these brains, if you do not support these people to find a way, because the youth always has a fresh brain, because we have the ability to sit and think. We have the ability, the strength to sit at a position for over 3-4 hours. Think, and see how you can put your thinking into something feasible, into something that will progress your system. But you see, a lot of youth are actually, example is, there are almost 70 or 80% of youth who are graduates, but there is no job. There is no job. Then you will see people over 60 years, 70 years still occupying offices because they are part of the system. So because they are part of the system will not push them out. But if we have a system wherein, like, when the youth is qualified for a position, the old man who is above 60 should leave and the youth should take over, then you see fresh ideas, you see fresh movement. But because there is no support for the youth, there is no way the youth are not being part of the system. Reason being, because of political differences. And let me tell you, one of the things that is actually putting Africa backward is our political differences. Our political difference. We have the brains, but the brains are not working because they are not being allowed into the system. In fact, if they see that you are even trying to sabotage their system, they will find a way to eliminate you. So they will force you. It's either you leave the country or you die. It's a two-way thing. So how will the youth actively partake in the progress of our economy when you do not support them? When there is no support, when the youth do not have jobs, but there are old men who are over 60, 70, they are still in offices. Why should that be?
Comrade Mambu, I wanted to hear more, but because of the time factor, I will allow you to rest more. Then I'll move to my brother Nandip. But before I move to my brother Nandip, you know that right now, if you take the whole world, Africa makes up to 18% of the population of the whole world. But despite making up 18% of the global population, Africa accounts for just 3% of all trade. Of all trade, we have just 3%. And as I said earlier, at least 1 million Africans from south of the Sahara moved to Europe since 2010, according to Pew Research. As my brother Nandev said, Japan. And with this traveling abroad, you know, in 2021, African migrants sent home over 96 billion in remittances. And this is 3 times more than the sum of all foreign aid, according to African Development Bank. So the Africans who have Japan, who have traveled to America, to Europe, their remittances are even 3 times more than the so-called developed world or the industrial world are giving us. Which means if this youthful population, if we get a chance, even here in Africa, for us to work, and you know, Africans don't, most of their traveling even happen right here in Africa, because we have Ghanaians living in Sierra Leone, we have Ghanaians living in Nigeria, we have in Ghana, we have so many Nigerians here and they are remitting money back home. But we have so many borders. Even in Ghana, inside Ghana here, so many borders inside. Like, they've made movement so difficult. So we have to, what I believe is, for the youthful African to maximize their potential, African have to become a single state. If we become a single state, I think it will be easier for the African youth to move to, say, Nigeria, move to Niger, move to Sierra Leone, move to Morocco, move to any other part of Africa, and also find their greener pastures there than traveling to Europe. I would love to hear my brothers Nandip, your submission. Then we close it from there.
Thank you, Mabu. Yes, Nana, you can see the statistic that you gave, that Africa only has 3%. Yes, upon all the mineral resources that we have, upon all the youthfulness of our youth, of all everything, but we produce nothing. Nothing at all. Why is it like that? Was it done deliberately so that Africans should be backward? It's something that we should think about. People come to Africa and take resources and develop their country and they progress. Why we? Or they swear for us, say, we should not progress, or what? It's because of our thinking, because of our psychology, the way we program ourselves. So, as you earlier said, that we should have African Youth Summit rather than this, their African Union, that these old fools always use the resources of every African country to travel or to go for the summit, that they will not even bring out anything tangible from their African Union meeting, of which they did last week. It's just useless. That African Union meeting that the head of state or the president they usually go should be disbanded and replaced with African Union Summit, African Union Youth Summit, so that the youths will go and brainstorm on how to develop Africa. Yes, let's advocate for this rather than the old fools going there. Let the youth, every country, select their youth and send them so that they'll have a summit 2 days, maybe a week, to see how the youth should brainstorm and fix our continent, Africa. The issue of Japa, as comrade Nana said, if we develop our continent, there's no any person living any country or living Africa to go to anywhere because everything is here. Yes, as Mabu is suggesting that we should have one continent, or Nana rightly said that we should have one country, have a prime minister or a president. I think Muammar Gaddafi, he started doing that before he was brutally killed by the West. Yes, Muammar Gaddafi has that in mind. He wants to have a currency for Africa, but of which is purely what? Gold. And they knows it. They plan against it and they kill him. This is one leader that has foresight. This is one leader that has, you know, what do you call it? A heart of Africa. And one other person again is Sani Abacha of Nigeria. All of them, you know, those who think for Africa and want to move Africa forward or their country forward, they will easily get killed. We have other person, we have later, what do you call it, Kwame Nkrumah. A lot of them like that. Those are revolutionaries. You know, why don't we have revolutionaries now? Thomas Sankara, those people of old, they have foresight. They think about youth. They think about Africa, not about themselves. But they end up being killed. Why? Because it seems there are some people who want Africans to remain where we are, not to progress, but to what? To become slaves in our country, in our continent, which is completely wrong. Youth have to do something. The future is now, not anywhere. It's now. The future of the youth is now. We need to grab it. We need to do something. I want the Humanist TV Africa to start, you know, advocating for African Youth Summits so that we can come together. Those that left should, you know, support us by, you know, bringing more ideas so that we can see how our continent, Africa, should progress.
Yeah, I love that idea, and because of the time factor, I will stop you here. And my brother Emmanuel Mambu, your last word in just a minute.
Yeah, what I would say is, like you were rightfully saying, most of these statistics about Africa, I personally do not believe in them, because most of these things, they're actually doing it for us to see the negative part of Africa. Because how would you say where diamonds, gold, silver, and all these things are coming from, and you say we only have 3%? Something is wrong somewhere.
Of the trade. You know something? Our railway lines are all heading towards the coastal areas. If you look at the African railway line, which means we are just raw, we produce the thing and we transport them, then they make good use of it.
Yes.
So yes,
exactly. That is what is happening. We only picked it up and give it to them, and then they make use of it. And then if we want it in return, it goes higher.
Yes.
You know, we have to struggle hard to even get what we are the rightful owners. Example, let me just say, for those of us who watch football, just an example. What I said, the reason why I said I do not believe in most of this percentage stuff. Now, if you watch football, you see that African players are very good on the pitch, but when it comes to award, you see that they will mostly give those awards to the whites. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying the fact. You see that they will only see them as best to Africa. So this percentage stuff is we are only looking at Africa in a small in a small way. Whilst we see the rest of the world like they are whatever.
I really understand your point, and my brother Emmanuel Mambu, I really understand. I don't know if the internet connection, but well, we will draw the curtains here. Humanist TV Africa. The name is Kwame Apj Danka, and I was being joined by my senior comrade Nande Bonfa from Abuja, Nigeria, and also my brother from Sierra Leone, Emmanuel Mambu. The name is Kwame Apj Danka. Share our video, subscribe to our channel, tell other people about the good work Humanist TV Africa is doing, and please do share our videos, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, on TikTok, on everywhere. And also you can also check us out on our website, www.humanisttvafrica.com, www.humanisttvafrica. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok at Humanist TV Africa. And also you can also contact us on info@humanisttvafrica.com, info@humanisttvafrica. Our WhatsApp too is on the screen, and our website www.humanisttvafrica.com. This has been the Gang Show. The name is Kwame Apj Danka. Thank my senior comrade Nande Bonfa. Tomorrow we are going to battle it up all again. Thank you very much, and see you another time. Thank you.
Tuungane sote na tushereke pamoja ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja.